Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and I'm super excited to be filming this video. This is a final flip through of my Dina Wakley Blue Media Journal. It is a chunky journal now because I did not shy away from using dimension in this art journal. I've been working in this art journal for over 1.5 years, I think. It's been a long time. This one was a challenge for me. It was a little bit bigger size than my last art journal, and it has all of these different textures in it. It has denim and burlap and pressed paper and things I wasn't used to creating on, and so my pages just took me a little bit longer. It took me longer to fill it up, but it is done. It is chunky. No, I'm not going to paint the front. I prefer to just leave them like this on the front and let all of the goodness be on the inside. So I am going to do a flip through of this art journal. I have process videos for like all of these pages, I believe. So make sure to check out my art journaling playlist, and you will find a lot of the processes for these layouts. All right, and I will also link in the description box below. I'll link some supplies that I use on a regular basis in my art journal, just in case you were wondering if there's anything specific. Just make sure to ask me. All right, let's go. All right, so at the beginning of this art journaling endeavor, I did start at the very first page, and then after this page, I just jumped around. So the rest of the entries aren't necessarily in order. This one was fun. This one was using a bunch of different scrap paper that I tore up into little pieces and then created this rainbow with it. This has a lot of texture paste, stenciling, some butterfly cutouts, stickers. This has like all the things, and I'm kind of laughing. My handwriting has gotten so much better. So you're gonna see some poor handwriting in here, but it's really improved. This probably, it looks like this has sprays as well. I can't tell. I think that's probably gloss spray right there, but I love this page, and of course starting out with a rainbow is awesome, and kind of sets the tone for the book. Okay, next up, this double page spread. These are mountains, and each mountain has some different patterns on it. This is some collage paper that I had. I loved the black color here. We can do hard things. These are like mountains that I was climbing, and the sun rays coming from behind it with the gold metallic. Always fun for the sparkle. A relatively simple page, but there's actually a lot going on in the background. I think with this one, I was trying to experiment on how to combine, like this is denim. You can't tell that right now because it's almost completely covered up, but I wanted to see how the paint was taking to both sides of this layout. This is another double page spread, and this was my first attempt, I believe, at working with the burlap. And what I did is I had all of these paper butterflies that are on this gorgeous, really beautiful, intricate paper, and I sewed them all together through my sewing machine and then had them kind of coming on this page. It says transform. Back here, I layered some different book pages, but there's like a gloss over here, so it looks like there's stenciling. I don't know if you can see it. There is totally stenciling that is in a brick layout. So that is interesting. And some texture paste for sure. So this one, I remember when I made it, I wasn't like super stoked about how it came out, but I definitely learned something because working with the burlap, this is an early one, turned out to be really hard. There was a quote by Maya Angelou on this page that I then covered up with the butterflies on purpose. So it's interesting to see how styles kind of evolve, especially knowing that this was one of my first pages. I love this page. As I got into this journal, I started utilizing collage a lot more because it was a way that I found that I could work with these pages a little bit easier. So these are all images that I cut out from a Real Simple magazine. I love the You Are Magic and Happy. This girl in like 3 moments of her life. It says, when nothing is sure, everything is possible. There's beauty and simplicity. It's always the small pieces that make the big picture, and choose to see the good stuff. And really, this is a really simple art page, but just because it's simple doesn't mean it's any less artistic. And I believe that's what I was trying to convey when I had this art journal process. How fun is this one? This is super messy and I don't care. So it's this gorgeous butterfly stencil, tons going on in the background. There are lots of layers on this page, some tissue paper on top of this denim to kind of prep it. I don't know what paints I used. I'm guessing that these are Jane Davenport paints. That's my guess, because they don't really have a sheen to them. And it says, trust in the beauty of new beginnings. And of course, the butterfly is very representative of new beginnings. I absolutely love this. And plus I love all the butterfly stamping. It looks messy, but I remember this one being a ton of fun to put together. This one is from a while ago. So I did an art journaling page. I wanted to challenge myself to use a picture. And this is a picture of my daughter reading to one of her brothers. And I thought it was such a sweet picture. This one's called Tell Me a Story. And I've had fun layering using some different stencils. Art journaling to me is all about building layers. So sometimes there's stuff underneath here that you can't see, that you'll never see, but it was fun to kind of build it. And even when layers get covered up, it's all about the process of putting together the full art journal page or the full layout. Love, love, love this one. Here is another one that was heavily focused on collage. And I was actually collaging some pictures, which this picture right here with some large stickers. There's stenciling with texture paste done over the top, summer days, because this all ended up having this kind of hazy feel, which was unintentional, but it kind of turned out cool. I really, really like the texture paste, especially on this page. I think it helps bring it all together. And that is what helps incorporate these collage pieces. When you paint over them, when you bring in texture on top of them, you can see I added paint right here. That brings it into your art journal layout, so it doesn't feel like you just stuck the piece of paper right on top. Here is another one based heavily on collage, and this time using some napkins. So I have napkins. All of these squares are part of some Jane Davenport collage napkins. I have these beautiful ladies that I had cut out from a calendar, and then some pieces from Real Simple. I have this rainbow kind of arching to bring your eye over to their faces. And this was just fun. Look at all the colors, look at all the layers. And you can see there's some book pages in the background. It's just interesting when you see them later to try to figure out what it was that you did to get that page together. This is a more recent one for me based on the Olympics. I absolutely love the Olympics, so I have several Olympic themed spreads. This one says Thrill of Victory, the Agony of Defeat, using some papers from Dina Wakley, I believe, from her collage pack. I absolutely love this person right here, and they had all the colors of the Olympic rings, so I knew that was going to be in there. This is using some distress crayons, and then I had this like scribble look, which really brought in the scribbles right here, so it all kind of came together. Here is another interesting one where I was trying to bring together these two different mediums. So this is like pressed paper and this is burlap, and painting on burlap turned out to be a huge challenge, but one that I enjoyed. So you have this girl and her hair kind of floating out, and it kind of comes into this don't miss the moment. And I think that's interesting because she's like going away from the moment. She's seemingly missing the moment that's happening behind her. Some stenciling here that didn't quite work out as well as I wanted to, so I tried to cover up some of it. The only page that is not done in this art journal is the back of this burlap page, because I thought it looked interesting like this, and I was really nervous to mess up what was on this side because this burlap was hard to work with. So I didn't want to mess up this page. So this is the only page that is left blank in this particular art journal. Here is a super simple layout. This one has some stamping in it. I believe this is working with some neo colors. I love the edge right here. I find all of these different color blending pieces really interesting. I bet this is some spray. That's my guess, because this looks like Distress Oxide spray and then some neo colors over the top. I had a whole series where I was kind of thinking about windows. So I had this one. There was a window one back here as well. This one was a window. Windows were kind of one of the themes that you'll be able to see in this art journal spread. And this is supposed to be the window outside of my, or in my craft room, looking outside. It says, "Be alive." This is my last art journal entry that I finished in this particular art journal. I just recently had a video about it. I love, love, love how this one came out. It might be my favorite entry in this whole journal. It's up there for sure. Okay, so I did a whole series, I believe the fall of 2020, where I built art journal pages step by step. So I made the backgrounds first, and then I added some focal points, I embellished, I stenciled, I textured, and these are the pages that came from that. So we have this one, "Your uniqueness is your magic," "Find joy," "Shine bright." I love this page. The background of this page is so cool, so neat looking. I absolutely love that page. And then "I am," and then we have "We are here." So all of these pages were put together simultaneously over a few weeks as I kind of added layer by layer. And all of those are in my art journaling playlist. This one is one of my favorites because I felt like I stopped fighting with the different mediums in this one. So this is denim in the back of here, and I wanted a cohesive spread, and you can't get cohesive spreads with two different mediums all of the time. So I have some collage pieces, which always helps, in this desk right here. And this says "Create Unique Art." And I just embraced how things looked different on this side versus how they looked on this side and kind of built off of that. And I think that this particular spread was kind of a turning point as I was working through this art journal. Here is a spread that is very different for me in the color tones. It's much lighter, much more muted. You can tell I like color a lot. This one, just a little bit more retrospective. It was all about the background. So this is a large piece cut out from a magazine, and then I was just playing with building this background. It has a bunch of stuff. It has Distress Oxide spray, gloss spray, and then from a Taylor Swift song, "At Least I'm Trying," on there. And I just love, love, love the florals and the muted tones on this particular spread. In this spread, I challenged myself to go vertical. So I had this particular piece that was cut out, I think from Jane Davenport, actually. And then I added her body below. It says she's got a million dreams. She comes like feathers in a bag. I think that, oh, she keeps like feathers in a bag. I'm not sure. I can't read that. It says, "Embrace the moment. I will risk it all again and again," she says to herself. So this one, again, combining two different, this is burlap on the top and pressed paper on the bottom using some tissue paper. But I really liked going vertical. That was definitely a different feel for me, and filling up the space when it was aligned like this was a big change. There were only a few times where I did single page spreads, and this is two examples of that. They don't necessarily relate to each other. This one's super simple, just playing with acrylic paint and with Nuvo drops right here. It says "The Mother of All Wisdom, but first coffee." And then this one, I wanted to play with this texture in the background. I'm not super pumped with how all the colors came out, but I did have fun combining these elements right here, which are from the Vicky Bouton Color Study line, with the string, just playing with layering. I'd like to try this texture one again and do a little bit more blending. So I think that would be interesting to do in my next art journal. I absolutely love this page. So this is, again, denim, and then this is pressed paper. Love the feeling of the stars. I love the sparkle, which are also in the shape of stars, in the blue background. This one just feels so whimsical. It feels like it's missing some words, because I usually like to have words on my art journaling spreads, but I think when I was working on this one, I just kind of fell in love with the colors and I didn't want to detract from that at all. So we have like this whirlwind coming and then the stars are floating off of it. Just a really interesting look. I also really like this spread. So this one was all about playing with stencils and layering a ton of stencils. We have some washi tape lines in the background that I painted over, multiple different stencils, geez, 3 or 4 or 5 maybe in this one. This is a piece cut out from Dina Wakley. I love this hold on with the hand reaching up. I think this is just really pretty. I really like how this one came out. Here is another page. I believe this was actually a double page spread, but I don't know that they relate to each other super well. I'm not super pleased with this. This one was this is pieces from a Maggie Holmes collection and some gorgeous roses that I drew out with some stenciling. Not my favorite layout. I just don't feel like there's 2 focal points. That's kind of the issue. So they don't really play together well as separate pages. I think they're very pretty. I'm not sure that they work together. Maybe this one was my most recent one. Sometimes I forget what order I post things in. So this is a piece that I made during the Olympics when Simone Biles made her triumphant return on the beam. I found it super inspiring. And so this one was all about mental health. And in this video, I talked about how relaxing it is to do this kind of repetitive paint stroke thing in the background and how important it was for me to embrace those moments in my artwork so that I could release some of the stress that builds up. And then on this side, I talked a lot about being labeled and kind of wanting to bust out of some of the labels that we are given. And you can't always just drop a label. You have to kind of balance some of them out. So they were 2 separate spreads and I didn't like how they were 2 separate spreads. So I brought this little bit over onto here and I like how it combined them in the end. Okay, anytime there is a rainbow, you know that I'm going to love, love, love that piece. There's some tissue paper in the background here. This gorgeous rainbow with some fun patterns, a lot of stenciling on here. Love this girl. I think she is super cool. It says be unique, tons of color. So that's like my calling card. I love using all of the color in my art journaling spreads. This says, always remember you are absolutely unique, just like everybody else. This one, I totally dug this one. So this is my butterfly girl. I think she's cut out from somewhere and then I added the color in her. I'm not sure where I cut her out from though. I feel like Jane Davenport, but now I'm not sure. She kind of looks like a Jane girl. And then this butterfly stencil in the background, all filled in with stenciling and texture paste over the top. I love the watch and wait because I feel like she's waiting for people to notice that she has become this butterfly and she's a little unassuming, but look at how gorgeous she is with the watercolor, metallic watercolor in the background. I really, really like that one. This one I did for my Scrappy YouTube members. This has a quote from Dolly Parton, and this was demonstrating the napkin technique for them. I love these wonky lines. I think they came out really well. I think it was a great way to feature the quote. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one, from Dolly Parton. And I ended on a rainbow, just like I started on a rainbow. This one is Hope. It has some different tissue paper layered in the background, wonky lines, beautiful colors. I like the contrast between the blues and then all these warm colors right here and how hope is expanding over on this side. I very much enjoyed this spread and I definitely have a process video for this as well. All right, that's it. That is my completed art journal. I'm so excited that it's done. It's so fun to have these to look through and just to see how your styles kind of evolve. I find that really interesting. I cannot wait to pick a new art journal and to start again. I'm going to try something a little bit different, so we will see how that kind of goes. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Let me know in the comments below which spread was your favorite. I've linked supplies down below if you're interested in checking them out. And I want to give a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you are interested in finding out about some of the perks that you can receive as a Scrappy YouTube member, then make sure to click that join button, or there's also a link to join in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.